Hey, I am doing these live things more and more often out here on YouTube. I'm still doing it out on my Facebook page as well, but I wanted to start doing them here too so that I can share them out on Twitter. Eventually, I'm hoping that more people will come to this space, and this is where I'll be because they seem to be a little less judgmental and easier to deal with. Facebook, for whatever reason, doesn't allow you to download your videos and share them anyplace else, and I really am not a fan of that. So this week, I've been working on some stuff, and I posted some things on my own personal wall, and I got lambasted by a friend who I've known for quite a while for being very negative in my posts. Part of what Kundalini yoga has done for me in meditation has helped me to find my voice and be able to speak my truth, even when other people don't agree with me. Historically, I have not had, I've always been kind of terrified of speaking my truth. And when I do have the tenacity to say something, if somebody disagrees with me, I have found that I would just kind of backtrack and maybe change my opinion or say, oh gosh, I never thought of it that way, whatever. And I just read something else that another witch posted about speaking their truth and being political and doing the things that you need to do in order to be to be successful. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm really sorry. Another witch just posted about saying those things, about being truthful and being honest and posting what your truth is, and being political and speaking up for other people and for marginalized folk. And that you should speak it and just be open and not be afraid of speaking your truth. You're only ignorant when you don't want to learn what's going on and you don't want to see anybody else's point. So when I say find your voice and speak your truth, that's what I'm talking about. So you should choose your words wisely and try really hard to make sure that what you say doesn't bring any regret to yourself. You should speak with honesty about even your struggles, because you never know when that honesty might save someone from their own personal darkness. I have found that has been something that has historically worked or happened to me. When I first started this whole thing about my mental health and what I go through as a person who struggles with daily with panic, anxiety, and depression, that I've had people come back and say to me, oh my gosh, it is so awesome that you say and do the things that you do and that you speak up the way you do about this illness, because I too struggle with mental illness and I'm terrified to say anything, or I thought I was the only person that feels the way that you say that you feel. And it's so refreshing to have somebody come out and tell me that, yes, this is what's happening and I feel this way too. It's like saying something out loud that you've kept inside of yourself for so long, and finally the words come out and you feel differently than you did before. You realize, gosh, it's really not as bad as I thought. Sometimes it's still bad, but it's nice to know that other people are suffering alongside of you. Even when the people come and tell you how horrible what you say is, even when it's none of their business to judge what you say, they judge without considering anything you're going through, or because they think everyone is going through their own shit. So why should you talk about the stuff that's happening to you? They sit as the arbitrator of your story, not even considering what it might be that's taking hold of your sanity, or how fast and how hard your heart is beating right now. They don't consider that you might not have been able to catch your breath for the last 24 or 48 hours. They haven't thought about how you might have been jolted awake only to experience more panic and anxiety. They don't know the struggle of being too tired of living, but too afraid to die. Instead, they judge and point out how negative you are. That doesn't help. Sometimes they don't understand why you feel like this. They say they've never experienced those kinds of things. Well, goody for you. You should be grateful for not having to go through the struggle that infests my own mind. I'm sorry. Maybe instead of saying you have no idea what it's like, you going through what you're going through, you should have some compassion for those of us with minds that betray us. If you can't be that person, then say nothing or walk the fuck away, because you make it worse when you try to shame us for being sick. I feel like some folks would rather see me suffer from a terminal cancer than from an illness in my brain. Maybe that's more tangible to them, or maybe they feel like mental illness is my fault. Cancer is something you get. You just have a mental illness. Get over it. Take some deep breaths, or write your shit down and burn it. If it was only that fucking easy to do. I'm a goddamn witch. I have written more shit down and burned it, trying to get past it, than probably the average person has done. If that shit worked, I would be well. So to sit and say that that's the shit, that that's what's happening, that that's how it is, that if you did that, you would be better, is so fucking arrogant and flippant, especially in the first breath when you looked at me and said, you don't know what it's like to suffer that way. You didn't have parents that behaved the way mine did, weren't addicts, didn't beat on each other, didn't body shame or slut shame me. You didn't go through what I went through. You've just told me that, and then you tell me that I should just write my shit down and burn it. Fuck you, man. Like, if that would work, I would do that, but it doesn't work for me. I don't know why it doesn't work for me. I don't know why I fixate on shit. I don't know why it happens, because there's something wrong in my brain. Okay, that's why it happens. Try to be a little more kind. So speak up and don't let anyone tell you how to handle any aspect of your life, not your sense of style, the words you choose to describe your day, or if and when you need to throw out an SOS. Because when I post about my trauma and my mental illness, that's what it is, an SOS. When people reply with encouragement or love or tactics to help me, when they still invite me for lunch after, those are my people. Those are the lifelines that bring me back to sanity even for a moment. So think about that shit before you fucking jump somebody's bones, before you tell them that they're fucked in the head or that their shit is too negative. Yeah, bitch, it's negative. Try living it for 57 fucking years and then come back and tell me how the fuck negative it is. It's negative. And not breathing and not meditation. Those things don't always work for me. I had some really good days in the beginning of my Kundalini practice, and I still pursue. I'm still meditating. I'm still praying. I'm still working on it. But that doesn't take the encompassing fear of death that follows me since the first memories I can have all the time. It fucks me up. And that's where my fucking mental illness comes from. It's not like I could just go, here, let me take a med and that's going to make me feel better, because the death is always there, right? It's always there. I'm 57. It's coming for me, whether I like it or not. I can't escape that fear. That's where my fear comes from. If you have a way to fix that for me, tell me. And don't tell me I need Jesus, because that's not going to help me. I did that for 20 years. That didn't help me either. Okay. So have some compassion for people that go through shit that you don't understand. Have some compassion for people that are different than you. Don't look up and think just because it doesn't happen to you that you are somehow, that you should like negate that's happening to somebody else or tell them it's not as bad. If you don't know the struggle of a woman, don't talk about how women shouldn't be asking for equal right, equal pay, whatever it is. If you don't know the struggle of people of color, don't jump in there as a white person trying to say all lives matter when they talk Black Lives Matter. You don't get to speak on that. You don't get to speak on matters of transgender if you're not transgender. You don't get to speak on matters of being gay if you're not gay. You don't get to make decisions that affect a woman's body if you don't house a pregnancy. You don't get to do that when you get to just walk away after you shoot your load. You don't get to do those things. All of that shit adds to my panic and my desperation, because I see the fucking world falling apart all around us and we're just supposed to be smiling and happy. No, that's not how things work. If people got off their ass and stopped being so fucking selfish and thinking that if it doesn't happen to me, then I don't really need to worry about it, and fuck all those people that it's happening to, maybe things would be different and maybe you would understand another person's struggle. Get in touch with that shit. Go out and feed some homeless people. Go see some young transgender or gay children that have been thrown out of their houses because their parents can't accept them that way, and love on those people. Take a moment to understand how terrifying it must be every day as a mother, if you are a mother, and think about if your kid was going out as a white mother, if your kid had to go out and every day you had to look at him and said, if the police do anything to you, just do everything they say, regardless of whether you're right or you're wrong, because you don't want your kid to die at a traffic stop. I mean, come on, you guys. This shit is happening. To say it's not happening, to say that people deserve what they get when they don't, and you don't know the whole story, is kind of fucking shitty. You know what I mean? So let's take a minute to understand everybody's struggle and be nicer to everybody so that we can have a better planet, because this is the only place we have. And if we fuck it up, where are we going to go? If you got to stop being afraid of your neighbor and start to think about all the things that our government and the fear in the United States is trying to do to make us terrified of each other, and to think that everybody else is the problem. Welfare queens are the problem. We don't want to be paying for their babies, but you're going to have them, but we don't want to pay for them. You're not going to get any help from us. We're not going to help you raise them for the next 18 years. Hell, we're not going to stop a rapist from having fucking contact with the child he creates. What is going on? we have to start looking at other people's struggles and stop being so fucking fixated on, if it doesn't happen to me, it's not happening to anybody else, or it doesn't matter, because it sure the fuck does. It sure the fuck matters. And if you will call yourself a pro-life person, a pro-human person, if all lives fucking matter, then my life matters, and my struggle matters, and what I'm going through matters. And I know if anybody ever looks at what I post out here on this YouTube channel, I'm probably going to get slammed and I'm probably going to hate it. But oh well, shit fucking happens. I'm not going to stop saying it just because it makes people uncomfortable. Stop it. Help other people. Start looking at your neighbor and understanding that they're being fucked over by the government, even if they support it right now. They're being fucked over and they're being fed a line of bullshit and gaslighted. Look at other people that are struggling with no place to live, no food or money, whatever it is. Look at those people that are coming from Central America that are trying to find better lives because gangs and rapists and murders and war and fucking corrupt governments are making it so they have no infrastructure. You think people are going to walk thousands of miles to come to our border if they had it good in their own? Would you walk thousands of miles? I live in Florida. I'm not walking to Canada, and shit pretty much stinks here, so it ain't that bad here yet, right? But I can tell you one thing, if the infrastructure went, if my neighbors' houses were getting robbed all the time, if the government was shaking us down for money, which they do, but if they came to the door and said, give me that laptop right now, I'd probably consider taking my happy ass someplace else. Think about it. Think about what you're enabling because you hate somebody. And think about, why do you hate them? Peace.